Have you ever felt that itch to prove yourself? That little voice pushing you to post the perfect picture, share an achievement, or let the world know how well you're doing. Maybe it's the promotion you worked hard for, the expensive gadget you just bought, or even a simple moment of success that you feel deserves recognition. It's natural to want others to see your progress, to acknowledge your wins, and to feel like you're moving forward in life. But what if that very act, putting your success on display, is actually holding you back? What if seeking validation is silently working against you, rather than for you? The truth is, the moment we start focusing on impressing others, we shift our attention away from what really matters. We no longer do things for our own growth, but for approval. And here's the problem. Approval is a fleeting thing. The likes, the comments, the praise, they give us a temporary high, but they don't last. The moment passes, and soon we're left looking for the next achievement to showcase, the next reason to be noticed. It becomes a cycle, one that never truly satisfies. And this is where Stoicism comes in with a powerful perspective. The Stoics, some of the greatest thinkers in history, believed that true success isn't about external validation, it's about internal mastery. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a deeply reflective Stoic, advised against wasting time worrying about what others think. His reasoning was simple. Other people's opinions are beyond our control, and placing our happiness in their hands is a losing game. The more we chase recognition, the more we become dependent on something we can't control. And dependence, in any form, is a weakness. But if showing off is a trap, what's the alternative? How do we balance ambition with humility? And why does true success thrive in quiet confidence rather than public display? That's exactly what we're about to uncover. Because once you understand the hidden cost of seeking validation, you'll start to see success in an entirely new way. This idea isn't new. Long before social media, long before the modern obsession with recognition, there were people who understood the danger of seeking validation. The Stoics, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, built their entire philosophy around mastering the self rather than impressing the world. They saw success as something internal, something that couldn't be measured by applause or admiration, but by one's own discipline, wisdom, and purpose. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who had every reason to seek praise, warned against it. He wrote, "Don't waste time worrying about what others think." Why? Because the opinions of others are fleeting. They change with moods, circumstances, and trends. Basing your self-worth on them is like trying to build a house on shifting sand. One day you feel on top of the world because of praise. The next, you feel insignificant because that praise is gone. The Stoics believed this was no way to live. Imagine climbing a ladder to reach your goals. Every step you take requires focus, effort, and balance. But if you stop every few steps to turn around and see who's watching, to hear the cheers, to make sure people are impressed, you risk losing your footing. You might even fall. That's the problem with seeking validation. It distracts you from the climb. Instead of moving forward with purpose, you slow down, you hesitate, and sometimes you even take steps backward just to maintain appearances. The Stoics saw this as one of the greatest obstacles to true success. For them, success wasn't about how others perceived you, but about who you became in the process. Epictetus, once a slave who rose to become one of the most respected philosophers of his time, taught that external things, money, status, admiration, are all beyond our control. And because they are beyond our control, they are not where true fulfillment lies. He believed that the only thing worth mastering is yourself, your mind, your actions, your ability to remain steady, no matter what happens around you. Seneca, a powerful and wealthy advisor to the emperor, also rejected the need to show off. He argued that wealth, recognition, and status mean nothing if you don't have inner peace. He believed that constantly trying to prove yourself to others is a sign that you are not yet secure in who you are. True confidence, he said, comes from living with integrity, not from seeking attention. The Stoics remind us that life is not a performance. We don't need an audience to validate our worth. Real success is built quietly through discipline, wisdom, and purpose. And the moment we stop chasing approval, we start living with real freedom. But if showing off isn't the answer, then what is? How do we find fulfillment without seeking recognition? That's where the real power of Stoicism comes in. If true success doesn't come from outside approval, why do so many of us feel the need to show off? The answer lies deep in human nature. We all want to be seen, appreciated, and valued. From childhood, we learn that praise feels good. Whether it's a gold star in school, a compliment from a friend, or applause for something we've done, it creates a sense of validation, a feeling that we matter. But the problem begins when we start depending on that validation, chasing it like a reward, rather than focusing on what truly fulfills us. Modern life has made this even more intense. Social media gives us instant feedback. A like, a comment, a compliment. It all triggers a small rush of dopamine, the same chemical in the brain that makes us feel good when we eat our favorite food or hear a song we love. It's a quick hit of pleasure, but like any quick fix, it doesn't last. The moment fades, and then we need more. More likes, more compliments, more proof that we are worthy. Before we know it, we're stuck in a cycle where our happiness depends on how others react to us. But here's the downside. This kind of validation is like junk food for the soul. It feels satisfying in the moment, but it leaves us empty. No matter how much approval we get, it's never enough. The more we rely on it, the more fragile our self-worth becomes. If one post doesn't get enough attention, if one achievement goes unnoticed, we start questioning ourselves. Am I not good enough? Did I fail? And suddenly we're not living for ourselves anymore. We're performing for an audience, hoping to hear the applause. The Stoics saw this trap for what it was. They knew that real fulfillment doesn't come from being admired, but from being at peace with who you are. Instead of chasing approval, they focused on self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily not to waste energy worrying about what others thought. Epictetus taught that happiness should never depend on things outside our control. Seneca warned that those who constantly seek attention are often the ones most insecure within themselves. Their message was clear. When you stop needing validation, you gain true freedom. So before posting, boasting, or seeking recognition, it's worth asking, why? Am I sharing this because it adds value, or because I want approval? Is this coming from a place of confidence, or from a need to be seen? When we shift our focus from impressing others to improving ourselves, something powerful happens. We become more grounded, more content, and more in control of our own happiness. And that kind of confidence doesn't need an audience. It speaks for itself. When we constantly seek validation from others, we don't just create a false sense of confidence. we actually slow down our own growth. Instead of focusing on real progress, we start performing. Every action becomes about how it looks, rather than what it truly means. The effort shifts from improving ourselves to proving ourselves. And that's a dangerous trap. When success is measured by applause instead of actual achievement, we stop growing in the ways that matter. The habit of showing off also breeds an unhealthy cycle of comparison. When we seek attention, we naturally place ourselves in a competition, whether we realize it or not. We measure our success based on how others react, and in doing so, we make their opinions more important than our own journey. But here's the irony. The more we try to prove something, the less confident we actually appear. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need a spotlight or constant reassurance. It comes from knowing your worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. Those who are genuinely secure in themselves don't waste time trying to impress. They are too focused on their own goals to worry about whether others are watching. But the effects of showing off don't stop with the person doing it. It also disrupts the people around them. When someone flaunts their success, it forces others to react. It shifts attention, sometimes creating feelings of inadequacy or pressure to compete. Instead of allowing people to focus on their own paths, it forces them to compare. That's why showing off often irritates others. It demands their energy, their attention, and sometimes even their peace of mind. Imagine being in a room, focused on your work, when someone bursts in to declare how great they are. It's distracting, unnecessary, and shifts the focus away from what truly matters. The Stoics understood this dynamic well. They knew that true fulfillment doesn't come from proving your worth, but from developing it in silence. They believed in mastery over performance, substance over display. The ones who accomplish the most are often the ones who speak the least about it. Their success speaks for itself, without the need for validation. And in the end, that kind of quiet confidence is far more powerful than any show of success. The most successful people in history didn't waste time trying to impress others. They were too busy doing the work. True success doesn't need an audience because real achievement isn't about being seen. It's about being effective. The best leaders, thinkers, and innovators understood this. They focused on their craft, their mission, and their purpose, not on applause. When someone is truly great at what they do, recognition follows naturally. But the difference is, they don't chase it. Look at some of the most influential figures in history. Many of them worked in silence, dedicating themselves to their goals without the need for constant validation. Take Nikola Tesla, for example. He wasn't interested in showing off his genius. He was too focused on creating. While others sought fame, he pursued progress. Even today, long after his time, his contributions to science and technology speak louder than any words ever could. Another example is Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors. Despite his wealth, he lives simply and rarely seeks attention. His success is undeniable, but he doesn't feel the need to constantly remind people of it. He lets his work do that for him. That is the mindset that separates those who achieve lasting success from those who only seek temporary recognition. When you focus on growth instead of approval, your achievements become real. They aren't built on external praise that can fade overnight, but on genuine skill, discipline, and progress. A person who constantly shows off might gain attention for a moment, but that moment is fleeting. In contrast, Someone who quietly builds their success creates something that lasts. The Stoics believed this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful leaders, advised, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, don't talk about success, live it. Don't focus on proving yourself to others. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. A tree doesn't announce when it's growing. It simply stands tall. The same is true for those who achieve true success. They don't need to declare it. Their actions, their work, and their results say everything that needs to be said. Not everyone views success the same way. People come from different backgrounds, experiences, and beliefs, and sometimes showing off is their way of proving something to themselves or to the world. It's easy to assume that someone who constantly seeks attention is simply arrogant, but the truth is often more complicated. Some people have struggled for everything they have. If someone grew up in poverty, for example, their success might feel like a victory they need to display. It's not just about impressing others. It's about proving to themselves that they made it. The same goes for those raised in environments where material wealth was seen as the ultimate measure of success. When you grow up believing that status and possessions define your worth, it's only natural to seek validation through them. Understanding this doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but it does mean you don't need to judge. The Stoics believed in focusing on what is within your control, and the actions of others aren't. Instead of letting someone else's behavior frustrate you, shift your attention back to your own path. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself not to waste energy being annoyed by the actions of others. People will do what they do, and you can't change that. What you can control is how you respond. You don't have to participate in the game of showing off, nor do you have to resent those who do. This mindset builds both peace and strength. Instead of feeling irritated when someone flaunts their success, recognize that their need for validation comes from somewhere. It might be insecurity, upbringing, or personal history. You don't have to praise it, but you also don't need to waste energy being bothered by it. The best thing you can do is stay focused on your own journey. Let others do what they will. Their path is theirs, just as yours is yours. The more you practice this, the less you'll feel affected by what others choose to display. At the same time, practicing empathy doesn't mean losing your own sense of purpose. You can understand why people behave the way they do without letting it influence you. Stay grounded in what truly matters: your growth, your discipline, your work. The quieter you stay, the stronger you become. A person who seeks constant validation is controlled by the opinions of others. A person who doesn't need it is truly free. Embracing quiet success starts with a simple shift in focus. Instead of looking for approval from others, turn your attention inward. True success isn't about being seen. It's about being solid within yourself. The moment you stop chasing validation, you free yourself from the pressure of proving anything. The need to show off fades when you realize that your worth isn't measured by applause, but by the strength of your character and the quality of your work. A key practice in quiet success is self-discipline. The ability to achieve something and not immediately seek recognition for it is a sign of real confidence. Let your results speak instead of your words. The strongest people are those who stay focused on their craft, not those who announce every step of their journey. When you build discipline, you develop the ability to keep moving forward without distraction. Instead of seeking approval at every milestone, you simply keep going, knowing that true achievement doesn't need an audience. Before sharing something, ask yourself a simple question. Am I sharing this because it adds value, or just because I want attention? This small moment of self-reflection can reveal a lot. If the main reason for sharing is to seek praise, consider keeping it to yourself. Not every victory needs to be broadcasted. The most powerful achievements are often the ones done in silence. When you learn to be at peace with your own progress, without needing the world to acknowledge it, you become truly independent. Adopting this mindset changes everything. Confidence doesn't need an audience. The people who are the most secure in themselves don't feel the need to prove anything. They know their value, and they trust their work to speak for itself. The quieter you become, the more you focus on real growth rather than appearances. In the end, quiet success isn't about hiding. It's about not needing validation to feel accomplished. It's about moving with purpose, focusing on what truly matters, and letting the results take care of themselves. When you step back and look at it, the need to show off is just a distraction. It pulls focus away from what truly matters: your growth, your discipline, and your purpose. The more energy spent seeking validation, the less is left for actual progress. Chasing approval might feel rewarding in the moment, but in the long run, it keeps you trapped in a cycle of insecurity. True success isn't about proving anything to the world. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, whether anyone is watching or not. This is the core lesson of Stoicism. Mastery is the real goal, not recognition. The greatest achievements come from quiet, steady effort, not from public displays. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all understood that a fulfilled life isn't built on applause. It's built on strength of character. Every time you resist the urge to seek approval, you take a step closer to real confidence, the kind that doesn't waver based on others' opinions. So here's the challenge. Next time you feel the pull to show off, pause. Ask yourself why. If your success is real, it doesn't need to be announced. True confidence doesn't seek attention. It simply exists, strong and unshaken.